whenever you have people that don't want to talk to you, you have to talk to everything around them and report that they aren't talking. You can only report what you are hearing.
Now, did you have trouble getting people to go on the record, though? I mean, you had a lot of people talking to you that wouldn't go on the record. So sort of how did you deal with that?
Yeah, we had a lot of trouble with people not wanting to go on the record because, like I said, these Potter College DHs and teachers, they didn't want to go on the record until they knew that everyone was behind them because they didn't want to lose their jobs or potentially, who knows, when your boss gets fired for apparently no reason, why couldn't you? So the way we kept, because we had all these people on this email chain, half of them did answer and did tell us a lot of stuff, but like half of them didn't want to go on the record. And so we just had to keep on them and then call people that we know are really mad about it or really likely to talk. And once you get that first person, and we did, we got a few people to go on the record. And whether that means their whole interview with you is on the record or just 2 sentences of it. If you can get 2 sentences that are worth reporting, like Jack was talking to Robert Deitel, the interim director here of the School of Journalism and Broadcasting. He was one of the first people to actually go on the record with us. And he didn't want to at first. Jack called him and he came back to me and he said he didn't want to go on the record. And I said, what did he say? And he said, Deitel said that the provost, he didn't agree with her. What did he say? He didn't agree with her.
He thought her answers were unsatisfactory.
Yeah, her answers were unsatisfactory. And I said, and is that on the record? And Jack said, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I was like, you got to call him back and know. You can't not know. That's something that's very important. You have to establish with whoever you're talking to that something is either, if it's on the record or off the record, on background, not for attribution, whatever it is. You have to make sure that they know that and you know that. And if they don't say anything, it's assumed that it's on the record. If they don't say anything, usually if they don't want something in, they'll say it's off the record. So Jack told me that Deitel didn't specify this is off the record. When I said that a minute ago, I was wrong. He didn't say this is like flat out, this is off the record. And so I said, all right, well, you got to call him back and ask him if he wants to go on the record. Called him back. Yeah, you can print that. So once we got the director of the SJB saying that the provost's answers were unsatisfactory, you go back to those people that say they didn't want to talk on the record and you say, hey, the SJB director just said her answers were unsatisfactory. And then eventually, okay, yeah, you can, here's what I think, and you can print whatever they say.
If someone else has jumped off the cliff before you, it makes it easier, apparently.
Right. And that might not always be the case, but that's just the best strategy to follow if you're having a hard time getting people on the record.
All right, so I asked all of you all to prepare questions for this, so now is the time to ask your questions. Sarah.
How are you balancing your attention with this and the attention to the lawsuit you're currently in with WKU?
So the lawsuit's been going on for so long that it's just become a backdrop for us. And we, so I guess the lawsuit has sometimes made it hard for us to get things and comment from the university. And that's only with a certain few positions of people here that are really bitter about this lawsuit. And but in terms of this situation in the lawsuit, it didn't really have a play. We didn't. It's not really relevant to it. And you know, if the provost did come out and give a comment and say, well, I'm not going to talk to you because we're in the lawsuit with you all. Well, hell yeah, we're reporting that. That's something that shows that person's character, and that's just going to fuel this story even more. But no, that didn't happen. It's not likely to happen. I mean, it could, but it didn't really have much of a play in this story. It's a good question though, because I know a lot of people are confused about that lawsuit. I'm confused about the lawsuit.
How careful do you feel like you have to be when choosing like who to interview and who to ask certain questions?
That's a good question. So you have to kind of know who you're talking to. And what I mean by that is ask, like our advisors have been here for longer than we have, obviously, and they know these people better than we do. So ask them, hey, is Eric Reed, history department head, is he a guy that is usually talkative? Does he like the Herald? That's a question that we ask a lot. Does this person like the Herald or not? Because if a teacher doesn't, or not anybody, if they don't, then honestly sometimes it's a waste of time just to call them because they're not going to give you anything. So knowing who you're talking to in terms of what kind of person they are, what they think about the administration, what they think about the Herald is going to help you form your questions in a way that you can coax them to talk. And so it's if you know that somebody's going to be tough to get to, but you have to have them, that's maybe when you go and do some of those other phone calls first and get other people to say things, and then you tell this person that Johnny, Joe, and Jack said this, and these three guys are high up officials, so maybe that's going to coax this person who's not so willing to talk. But yeah, if you, as much as you can know about who you're talking to, the better, and the better it's going to be for you to get what you want from them, or at least get something from them. And with people who want to stay off the record, don't give up on them, because you'll find that those people are likely to continue sending you tips and background information that is going to help you get other people. That's what we had with one guy. So before I got that email chain, 2 days prior, a guy from, I can't remember what department he's from. He's from Potter. I don't remember what department. Emailed me and said, he forwarded me an email chain of another meeting that was supposed to take place prior to this other one that we would later learn about. And that guy was not included on the second chain, so he kind of got voted off the island by the rest of the Potter people, you could tell. But we didn't give up on him because he's the one who initially tipped us off about it, so we knew he would keep us in the loop as much as he could, and he did, and he's still talking to us today. So this guy has kind of been helping us find out and stay ahead of things, and that's why you don't give up on people who don't want to go on the record.
What do you think you learned from this experience that you'll be able to take into your career as a journalist? A
lot of things, and a lot of it is, this is one of the first situations where I've kind of dealt with people who didn't want to go on the record. Me personally, I wasn't doing a lot of reporting here. I was organizing it all. I mean, I knew everything, what was going on in every single phone call that was made, but I didn't. I made a few calls myself, not a lot. But I've learned that I've learned how to deal with people off the record, just like I just said, and how to sort out what rumors are worth chasing and which ones aren't. I've learned how to vet things. I've learned how to know more about your sources. And but really, I think the biggest thing that's going to help me, no matter what I go into after this in journalism, whether I'm not going to go right into an editor spot, but this type of thing has helped me learn how powerful and how easy it makes things when you are working as a team. When you've got 10 people all focused on the same thing, all working hand in hand, it makes it go much faster, and it makes it very, very easy to sort out a bunch of crap that you don't know how it's going to be sorted out. And so putting your heads together with smart people makes you smarter, and it makes you more confident to do things that you might be uneasy to do. So like if you're scared to call this person because you know that they aren't easy to talk to, and they're going to be taken aback or upset that you know something that they're doing, and you see your coworker calling someone in the same situation, you're like, well, she's doing it, I got to do it. So teamwork is very, very important in journalism, even though it might not seem like it sometimes, but that is probably the biggest lesson I think I've learned through this.
Now, you had refresh my memory, you worked at the Courier-Journal last summer,
Herald
right?
Leader.
Herald Leader.
Lexington Herald Leader.
So how was there anything, was there anything that you've done either at the Herald or when you were working in Lexington that sort of prepared you for this, or was this just kind of in new territory?
So, at the Herald Leader, I don't remember any situations where we had a bunch of things swirling around like this. I mean, there was, I'll tell this story because I love telling it. It kind of relates. This past summer I interned at the Lexington Herald Leader and I was doing breaking news. And that was my first time doing news. Like I said, I'm from a sports background. I love writing about sports. That's my thing. But I knew I needed to get this news experience because it was important. And a lot of times sports reporters' skills are very transferable to news reporting. But anyways, it was like a 2:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and a woman got stabbed in her own driveway in a nice neighborhood in broad daylight. And so my editor sent me out there, and I was scared to death. I mean, this woman just got stabbed. Who am I going to talk to? And so I go out there, and sure enough, the driveway, there's like a SUV in the driveway, the driver's side door's open, there's a big pool of blood on the driveway. And there's a couple TV stations there, and so I'm just kind of standing over by them. There's some police officers that have got it all roped off and stuff, and we're all just waiting for the PIO from the Lexington police to come tell us everything he knew and everything they knew. And meanwhile, I and the other TV reporters were going to different neighbors' houses, asking them who lives there, did you see anything, this and that, which is intimidating, trust me. You're basically going door to door, and you're the media, so people aren't always too receptive of that, and it can be intimidating, but you got to do it. So anyways, police come and they say that she was stabbed 3 times in the stomach, and the assailant was wearing a black ski mask